gather around your device for a tale about a water heater.
Hi folks, welcome to this story about Katie's tankless water heater catastrophe. I'm going to explain this story to our audience. So, some 2 days after I move in, I didn't spend the first 2 nights there because I was nervous, but I finally took a shower and it wasn't warm at all. And I thought, that's weird. And then Mike said, why don't you just check on the water heater and turn it up? So I decided to turn it full blast. I go back and shower the next day and it's still cold. And I'm thinking, wow, this is weird. Well, I call my warranty company and they come out and they say, your water heater is for shit. So I then go through the whole process of getting the estimate for my water heater. It was going to be like, I don't know, $5,000 to get it up to code. So I then said, well, maybe I should upgrade to a tankless water heater. Maybe they can pay it out. So I'm working with the warranty company. It ends up taking like weeks, right? Because this is my first time doing a claim. This is my first time like figuring out if I can get a cash out, how much money they'll pay for the equipment versus labor, what the upgrade fees are. So I finally find a company who can do it. And they come out and there's this dumbass called, what was his name? Spencer, thank you. Spencer comes out, not to be ageist, he looks like a baby. He's like tinkering around, it's taking him all day. He comes out and he goes, hey, do you have electricity out here? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, we might have to run an extension cord from your shack over here. And I'm like, really? He's like, well, or we can bring a contractor out. And I'm like, yeah, figure it out. Go back in, finish my work day. He's still tootling. You see he's like struggling. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay, he's new, he's learning, be patient. Takes all day. He probably got here at 10. He didn't even leave until 9. And this is summer, so it was still light. And I think this other guy, anyways, he goes away. I'm like, this is a month later. I am like, yes, I'm going to take my warm shower. I turn on the hot water nozzle and it just like kind of does this kunk and then like breaks like really easy. And I'm like, no, sitting naked in my shower, just like, no. And down comes like all the tub. It just like splashes all this water. And I start to smell smoke, and that was my complete irrational because it was kind of starting where everyone's like lighting off firecrackers. So I'm thinking, oh my God, there's an electrical fire, my plumbing. And then because of the steam, which I didn't realize, my fire alarm does start going off. And I am freaking out. I run and put clothes. I'm like coming around, starting to smell fire. I just start like breaking. I start sobbing because I'm like, what's happening? And so I go and turn off the hot water. I call and I bitch them out. They come out, they send like Spencer out again to like try to like play with the nozzle. And he's like struggling. And I look at him after like being impatient and I'm like,
are you still naked?
No, now this is days later, not naked. May have gotten better service, but good question. I look at him, I'm like, Spencer, you gotta level with me. Do you have any idea what you're doing right now? He's like, well, it's kind of stuck. I'm like, just stop. So then I call them. They're like, well, you're gonna have to pay for a real plumber to come out because as a water heater company, we don't do it. So then I have to call the warranty. They bring another person out. They open up the cartridge and they see 3 pieces of solder that he had probably dropped down. They fix it for like $75. They didn't even charge me for the hardware. 3 days later, taking a shower, it happens again. And now I'm like, oh my God, I have to call my buddies up at whatever. And so then they come out, then they charge me this time for the equipment. They found solder again in it and they had to go replace it. Luckily that was the end. I bitched out the company a lot. They gave me a free service. Oh, the one thing I forgot. So to do the check, they sent out Spencer again because he didn't put it up to code. So he didn't do it right. He forgot to put the, like, there's like a condenser or something like this, I don't know, some like safety valve. totally forgot it, totally didn't rub, was like crap everywhere. So then Fernando came out. Fernando was like, God, who did this? This is along the pacing before it finally got fixed. Fernando goes, God, who did this? He cleans this all up. He had dropped something on the ground that was like chemically could corrode the cement there.
Flux.
Was it?
Flux.
Okay. Then Fernando goes, I'm going to give you a freebie. He puts like some digital thing that I can manage it. It didn't even matter. So on the inspection day, Spencer comes back. The permit guy from the city comes. He goes, oh, you need to drill this in. It's not secure. You need to drill it. So Spencer goes out to his work truck, comes out with this like drill bit that's like this tiny, trying to like dig into my plaster. And he's like, he comes out and he goes, it's not working. It's not working. And I'm like, is this like a concrete, like big drill bit? He's like, I think so. And I'm like, he's like, I can't make a hole. There's like a tin in the back. So I go in the crawl space and I go behind it. Granted, there are a bunch of holes like right next to the ones that he's trying to make this like bolt in. I go into the crawl space and I'm like, Spencer, I don't fucking see anything behind here. What are you talking about? You have the wrong bill. I'm like, he's like, oh, I just can't figure it out. And I was like, Spencer, you know what? I'm sorry, but I have very little faith in you right now because of the fact that you screwed up my water heater the first time. I'm sorry, but you need to go home. He's like, you want me to go? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, he like shamefully like brings out his little iPad. He goes, okay, well, can you sign that I was here? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not signing anything. And then they had to bring out Jose, who is the district area. He brought his friend, and they came out, and they also say how shoddily both the two people before had done it, and then they cleaned it up the third time. So there was probably like 4 times that they had tried to get it up to code till finally it was done. And that was the end of the story.
And what promotional, this is a promotional video for what water heater company?
What was their name? Wait, hold on. ACH, like it was like
who not to hire?
Yeah. They were called Payless Water Heaters.
Painless?
Payless.
Payless. Oh,
Payless
that
water
says it all.
And what I got out of that deal, I didn't get any discounts. I got a free like year maintenance, which is just like flushing it out with vinegar, which I could figure out on YouTube. And they just paid for the plumber. And that was it. A month without hot water.
But it works now.
Oh, and the pressure was all down. So then they had brought out another guy to clean out my pipes because through doing it, it flushed it all with debris. And my water pressure totally went down. And that's it. Thank you.
All right.